So I met you at a Yukon conference, and I was like, oh boy, she's going to talk about health. And I was like, where is she going with this? All these little exercises. And then I realized, like, wow, I don't feel like I'm in the best health. And I broke down in tears. And you know, you gave me a hug and you were like, we can do this. Just call me and send me an email. We'll set some time up. And here we are. And I think what drew me to the whole process was that I had tried so many other approaches before, and I hadn't heard of, like, your approach was completely different than anything that I had ever tried before. And at that point, I was like, well, nothing else has worked, so why not give it a go? And here I am on this amazing health journey, feeling so much better about myself and my health and my overall happiness. And um, yeah, so that's kind of where we are. The approach was different, and I wanted to, feel my best. And so I gave it a go. So what I was struggling with the most was using food as a coping mechanism and overeating, and then having that kind of spiral into how I felt about myself. And, it turned into, me gaining a lot of weight and then not being able to do the activities that I used to love and enjoy. And and I think that, using that kind of as a coping mechanism obviously was not what I wanted to continue doing anymore, because I wanted to choose kind of healthier, options that would make me feel better, happier, healthier, and content, and bring me back the ability to do what I wanted to do every day, hiking and, you know, um, m- actually going to the beach and wearing a bathing suit and feeling comfortable doing that. And, it was starting to put strains on my relationship with my boyfriend and my family, due to me kind of not wanting to leave the house and feeling confident in myself anymore. Um, and so that was kind of where I was struggling with. And, it was really causing me a lot of distress and anxiety and unhappiness. And so I realized it was time to make a change.
And what's changed since we've worked together, and how has that impacted your life positively?
So my whole view on health completely changed, because my initial goal was like, oh, I have to lose all of this weight and be healthy. And I think what has changed is that healthy is what I make of it. So for me, healthy was, yes, losing weight, but being active and returning to the things that I loved doing and feeling less stressed and having different coping mechanisms than what I was using to cope with that stress and alleviate stress. And, I think that it has definitely changed how I look at health as a whole, but then also like really changed, what I'm doing in my life to kind of achieve that health and replace those, habits that didn't make me feel so great about myself. So, my relationship with my boyfriend is a lot better now because we are, being active together. I am more confident in going out and doing things and feeling like I can go for a hike again. And, um, you know, feeling like I can go to work and not be grouchy. And that I'm able to kind of handle my stress in other ways. So I found health healthier or, coping mechanisms than, overeating. I found a wonderful, food plan for myself that we individualize that I love. And, um, I just feel more confident, um, and a healthier, happier, more content version of myself with happier, healthier relationships with other people and, a very different and more vibrant and upbeat outlook on life and work and, every aspect of my life, basically. So everything else that I tried kind of seemed like a chore and like a big daunting process with like a million changes and deprivation and lack of fun and just a chore. All the other approaches that I took to this just felt like a chore and it never stuck. So I would eat healthy and lose a few pounds for, a couple months, and then I'd be right back to where I started. Um, I would get stressed at work and I would just bottle it up and swallow it, and then eventually just return back to my habit of coping through eating. And, you know, now I feel like that approach obviously was not effective. And the approach that we took was very different because we changed little things incrementally along the way. So it allowed me to adjust to those little incremental changes to eventually like achieve the goal that I was looking for without it being this massive chore or like a drastic shock or change to my life in one fell swoop. It was like gradual over time. Um, and that made it seem more achievable for to start. Just it's smaller, more achievable goals, but also not just achievable, but like sustainable, right? Like it the little changes were not easy to make, but it seemed more achievable than a complete lifestyle change in one day. And that just made this, journey of the past few months, you know, stick. And now it doesn't seem like a chore. It's just, this is just how I live now. And it makes me happier. And now that I look back, it's like a huge drastic change, yes, but instead of making that huge drastic change up front, it was a little bit here and there to get to that change. And now it's just a routine. I just, it's just how I live now. It's not it's not just like this huge chore. That's just the word I think that I'm looking for. I keep repeating it, but it's not a chore. It's just now it's my lifestyle and the way that I'm living. I think, from the moment that I literally showed up at this conference, like bawling at the end of the conference, like, help me, to now, like, it's incredible I'm like tearing up now because I'm like so emotional about it. Because I was a person that I did not want or like being. And now I feel like I am a person that I love and enjoy being. And my health journey was really fantastic. And I can't imagine being that person anymore. And it's achievable if you put your mind to it and you put in the work. I know, I'm like tearing up, but like when I look at that person that I was and how unhappy I was and having to be that unhappy with myself, but put on that face for everyone every day, like nothing was wrong. Like that in and of itself is a lot of energy and a lot of work.
Mhm.
And I think what I realized is like, instead of putting all of that energy into putting on a facade for everyone else and just being miserable, like put that work into working on yourself with this approach. like I call it the incremental approach. You might call it something different, Catherine, but
Like it. I like
but
it. Use
take
it.
that up. Yeah, yeah. So I taking that energy that I was using to kind of fake it till you make it and putting it into this health journey, the incremental health journey, and realizing that I was spending all of that energy and I just needed to refocus it in a different way. And here I am, and now I'm happy with myself. And I can't imagine looking back.